Hey there. In this video, we're going to be looking at extracting a row from a table, which we've already done, but we're going to do it using the key search method, which is a little bit trickier, but comes in handy a lot. And you'll often see when you're having Power Query write code for you, you'll see Power Query do this. And so this is sort of you can use it yourself, and it also will help you understand what it is that Power Query has done. Okay, so what we want is we want the coffee large row. We want this row. We want to extract it from this table. So we're here in extracting table elements.xlsx. We're in the coffee large sheet. We've clicked on the table. If you don't have the query pane, go up to the Power Query tab and click on Show Pane. And we're going to head down here to Query Grab Coffee Large Row. Right click on it and hit Edit. Okay. So if we want to grab the coffee large, the way you already know how to do this is you use curly braces and you type in, well, we want the third row, and since this is 0 index, we have to subtract 1 because the first row is considered row 0. And there we go, we get coffee large. And that works just fine. There are other times when you might want to use a different approach. And so the approach is, what we're going to do is we're going to search using a key, which is to say we need a column that has all unique values. And we're going to search for a text string or a number, and when it finds it, it'll return that row. So what we're going to do is, to start off with, we're going to search for the text string coffee large in the column name. So to do that, what it looks like is you start with curly braces, because we are extracting a row ultimately. Then inside those curly braces, we're going to add a square brace, and we're going to do name space equals open quotation marks to open up a text string, coffee large. Close the quotation marks, close these square braces. So notice I'm going to add a little more white space here. We've got curly braces, and inside the curly braces, we've got square braces. And for those square braces, rather than extracting something that looks like this, just the name part, we're going to look for a specific name. So it's going to keep going down this column until it finds the text string coffee large right there, and it's going to return that equivalent row. So coffee large, product ID 3, 442.38. If I hit enter, coffee large, product ID 3, 442.38. Okay, head back out there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Let's head over here. Let's go back, and we'll do it. We'll do it 2 more times. One time in a way that works, and another time in a way that doesn't. So let's start by we're going to search for the same thing, but we happen to know that the product ID is 3 for whatever reason. So we're going to do open curly braces, open square brackets. We're going to do product ID equals 3. And I'm pretty sure this is a number, not a text string, so this should work just fine. Close these square braces, close the curly braces, and hit enter. And there we go. That worked just fine. So it searched So if you look at the code, it searched the product ID column for the number 3. So it went found 3 and said, okay, here's a row that they're talking about. Here's a row that they want. And that's what we got. Okay, so let me show you an example of this not working. So there's 2 examples of how you use it. Let me show you an example where it breaks. For this to work, every value in the column has to be unique, right? If you have duplicate columns, it won't work, because what it wants to do is it wants to find one row that's called the coffee large row. That's why it's called a key search. And for here, there's only one row, or there's only one product ID number 3, so it'll work. But here, there's a bunch of different rows that have beverage associated with it. So if we search for beverage, we'll get an error. So let's head up here. Let's do that. We're going to open the curly braces because we're looking for a specific row. We're going to extract a row. Close the curly braces. Do it that way. Add ourselves some space there. Open the square brackets. And we're going to type in category. And we're going to make that equal to, let's do food, right? So we're going to search the category column for food, but there's not one food, there's actually several foods, so we should get an error when we try this. Well, we're going to get an error definitely because I've spelled the category wrong. Category, I think I got that right, and enter. See, the key matched more than one row in the table. Details, key equals record, table equals table. That basically means that we tried to search for something, but the search yielded more than one result. So we couldn't extract one row. There's too many rows to return. Okay, so as an example of that, I'm actually going to show you where this actually comes into play. If we head over here to raw data, and I click on this table, I'm going to go to Power Query. I'm going to get data from a table. So there's this step that we've kind of been ignoring for a while, and it's the first source step. I'm going to go ahead and remove that right there. If we notice right here, the first step is excel.currentworkbook and name equals table1 and content. So I'm actually going to see somewhere over here. I've got an instance of Notepad. Let me just pull this over here. Can I do? Sorry about this. Don't save. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So I'm going to extract this just so I don't forget it. Control C, Alt Tab, over to Notepad, Control V, there we go. So if I come all the way back here, if I just use the excel.currentWorkbook function by itself, what we're actually going to get is a table of all the different things in the current workbook. So in the current workbook, there's a bunch of things, right? So there's the query total sales, query grab category, query grab total sales. All the things that we have as queries already exist in here, including this table. So if we click on the table, we can actually see the table out in Power Query. And we can also see the results of all the other queries that we have listed currently in the workbook. So what we're interested in is this one here, right? Table 1. That's where the data is that we clicked on. So that's where this table is. So to go from this, which is a table that has all the different things in the workbook, because we want all the data from this table, but not all the tables, we're going to have to drill down into table 1. So to do that, we're going to go and get this last row. Now we could attempt to do like a last row or something like that, but we know the thing is called table 1, so we're going to search for it that way. So we're going to open two curly braces because we're going to get a row. So we're going to do a square brace because we're going to do a key search for that row. We're going to search for name. We're going to search in the name column. And we're going to search for where the name equals table 1. Close square braces, close quotation marks, close square braces. Okay, so the curly braces say, hey, we're going to get a row from this larger table. The square braces say, well, we're going to get it by doing a keyword search. And the keyword search is go through the name column and look for the text string table 1, which is going to yield this table right here. If there were 2 table 1s, we'd get an error, but there's only 1, so this will work just fine. Okay, so if I click on that, see, we're going to get a record because, let's see, if we, I'm going to Control X, just look at that part. This row right here has got 2 things in it. It's got both the name and the content. So when we extract it, we're going to get both of those. So I'm going to Control V. So now that we've got the record, the next thing we need to do is actually extract the content itself. And that's where you'll find, we're going to head to this particular record and grab everything in the content value, content. And close square braces and hit enter. And we get that, which is sort of where we started, which is what Power Query generated. And if you look at, automatically change that. So if you look at the function that we started with, this is the function that we started with. This is the one that Power Query generated by itself. And we look at the one that we wrote by hand a second ago, they're identical. And so that's how they worked. So, I mean, this thing that we've sort of been ignoring for a while, which is how is it actually getting the data from the tables in Excel? Well, that's how it's getting them from Excel. All right, well, I hope that was illustrative of how all this stuff works and how you can actually use it. And I hope to see you next video.